Ruth, chapter 4. And Boaz has gone up to the gate, and sits there, and behold, the Redeemer is passing by, of whom Boaz had spoken, and he says, Turn aside, sit down here, such a one, such a one. And he turns aside and sits down. And he takes 10 men from the elderly of the city, and says, Sit down here. And they sit down. And he says to the Redeemer, A portion of the field which is to our brother, to Elimelech, has Naomi sold, who has come back from the fields of Moab. And I said, I uncover your ears, saying, Buy before the inhabitants, and before the elderly of my people. If you redeem, redeem. And if none redeems, declare it to me, and I know. For there is none except you to redeem, and I after you. And he says, I redeem it. And Boaz says, In the day of your buying the field from the hand of Naomi, then from Ruth the Moabitess, wife of the dead, you have bought it, to raise up the name of the dead over his inheritance. And the Redeemer says, I am not able to redeem it for myself, lest I destroy my inheritance. Redeem it for yourself, you, my right of redemption, for I am not able to redeem. And this is formerly in Israel for redemption and for exchanging, to establish anything. A man has drawn off his sandal and given it to his neighbor, and this is the testimony in Israel. And the Redeemer says to Boaz, Buy it for yourself, and draws off his sandal. And Boaz says to the elderly and to all the people, You are witnesses today that I have bought all that belonged to Elimelech and all that belonged to Chilion and Mahlon from the hand of Naomi. And also Ruth the Moabitess, wife of Mahlon, I have bought to myself for a wife, to raise up the name of the dead over his inheritance. And the name of the dead is not cut off from among his brothers and from the gate of his place. Witnesses you are today. And all the people who are in the gate say, also the elderly, Witnesses, Yahweh makes the woman who is coming into your house as Rachel and Leah, both of whom built the house of Israel. And you do virtuously in Ephrathah, and proclaim the name in Beth-Lehem. And let your house be as the house of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah, of the seed of which Yahweh gives to you, of this young woman. And Boaz takes Ruth, and she becomes his wife, and he goes into her, and Yahweh gives conception to her, and she bears a son. And the women say to Naomi, Blessed is Yahweh, who has not let a redeemer cease to you today, and his name is proclaimed in Israel. And he has been to you for a restorer of life, and for a nourisher of your old age, for your daughter-in-law, who has loved you, who is better to you than 7 sons, has borne him. And Naomi takes the boy, and lays him in her bosom, and is to him for a nurse. And the neighboring women give a name to him, saying, There has been a son born to Naomi, and they call his name Obed. He is the father of Jesse, father of David. And these are the generations of Perez. Perez begot Hezron, and Hezron begot Ram, and Ram begot Amminidab, and Amminidab begot Nahshon, and Nahshon begot Salmon, and Salmon begat Boaz, and Boaz begot Obed, and Obed begot Jesse, and Jesse begot David.